What's up, everybody? ZWade Photo. Today I want to talk about how my opinions on lens construction is kind of changing. But before I do that, I want to invite you to come and help support the channel, help it grow. You can do that by going to my website, checking out my personal art portfolio, swinging by the print shop, picking yourself up a print, or making a small donation in the PayPal link below. But if you don't want to spend any money at all, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm still going to give you good educational content if you just like, share, and subscribe. All of that is totally free, and all of those things help this channel grow. So it's been my opinion for years that the more glass you have in a lens, the worse it is. Because if you don't know this, glass is kind of an enemy of light, right? Every single piece of glass that light has to pass through, it beats it down and it flattens it. And all of these different elements in a lens, they do things like correct for chromatic aberration or flare. You have like your coatings and stuff. It's just another thing that the light has to go through. And so you can have something that is superior optically, but perhaps lacks a little bit in character. And by character, I mean like, the 105 f2.5. It has a lot of character. It's sharp. And it does have issues. You're going to get chromatic aberration and fringing and things like that, but it has a ton of character. It just oozes artistic beauty. And I've held this belief and I've tested this belief to where it has become fact for me until recently. I've said it before and I stand behind it that some of the Nikkor Z lenses lack a little bit in character. It's not like something that like ruins an image. You can still get beautifully edited artistic pieces out of what you're doing. It's mostly about the subject and the look is just secondary. The look boosts the subject of which you shot. You just have to find ways to get a little more creative to add a little bit of that little something extra. It started with the Nikkor Z 105 f2.8 micro. That lens has a little something special and it has character and it also has a lot of glass on it. And then what really just absolutely shattered my beliefs was the Nikkor Z 50mm f1.2. Yeah, this monster, this gigantic lens porn, beautiful, heavy, awesome lens. This lens has 17 elements in 15 groups. That is a ton of freaking glass. Chromatic aberration is pretty much non-existent. It's hard to get this thing to flare. There is little to no vignetting, and wide open at 1.2, it is just sharp, absolutely sharp, vapor thin depth of field, but absolutely insanely sharp. But what's kind of amazing is that it is juicy. The images are juicy. It has character. It should have no pop with that much glass. However, the pop, the micro contrast, if you buy into micro contrast, some people can see it, some people can't. Some people call it absolute bullcrap, and some people like myself, they can see it. I believe it. Like, I can see the difference between something that has a lot of micro contrast and something that doesn't. It is the difference between black and white, right? That's lacking in micro contrast. But when you have black, a ton of tones in between, and then white, that is good micro contrast. This thing looks amazing in black and white, okay? And black and white images really benefit from a lot of micro contrast because you don't just have black and white. You have black, a ton of grays, and white. And that lens has it. This has the most beautiful black and white images that I think I've ever seen. It is extremely close to some of the Zeiss lenses like the 85-1.4 planar and the 35mm f2 Distagon. Now that may be an argument that somebody wants to have. I'm just telling you my opinion. I'm putting these right next to images that I took with those other Zeiss lenses. This has pop. And I don't know how Nikon did it because it's a ton of glass. And like I said, in my mind, the more glass, the less character, right? Because that's what I've seen up until this point. Somehow, Nikon did it. This is the best example of it, the 105 f2.8 micro for the Z mount. That does have character. It's not like this. This is strange. I don't know how they did this. And so my hat is off to Nikon for just absolutely crushing my belief and what I see as fact is being challenged by Nikon's superior optics. Don't expect this from all of the Nikkor Z lenses. I've used most of them. And while they're all fantastic lenses, they're all really sharp. They all have great color. A few of the Nikon Z lenses are just impossible with what I have believed up until this point. I would recommend you try to rent these things, but I also ask you to proceed with caution because you may want to dump money that you don't have to spend into these things because they're just absolutely amazing. That's a wrap of this episode of ZWade Photo. Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? Do you believe in micro contrast or do you think it's all BS? I want to know all of these things in the comments below. Let's have a conversation and I will catch you in the next one.